If you're a fan of the Apple Watch Ultra, you will absolutely love the Ultra 3, which comes out in just a few months, as it will be the biggest upgrade that the Ultra has ever received. The Ultra 2 didn't really change much from the Ultra 1. It had a faster chip, more storage, a brighter display, and that double tap feature. And last year, instead of getting the Ultra 3, we just got a black version of the Ultra 2. And this is why the Ultra 3 is going to be such a big change, since it's technically been 2 years since the last Ultra update. And there are 10 major changes that are expected here. The first and probably the biggest one being blood pressure monitoring. According to Mark Gurman, after many delays, we may finally see it this year. Now, blood pressure monitoring on a watch sounds cool, but it isn't actually anything new. In fact, even Samsung's Galaxy Watch Active 2, released in 2019, had blood pressure monitoring, and all Galaxy Watches since have had it too. Whoop also introduced blood pressure monitoring in their latest Whoop MG, and they both work in very similar ways, in the sense that you have to calibrate it first with a real blood pressure monitoring cuff, and only then will you actually get your readings from your watch. And I do expect the Apple Watch Ultra 3 to work in a similar way, which I don't think is very ideal, as if you don't already have a dedicated blood pressure monitor, now you'll need to buy one just to calibrate your watch, at which point you may just as well use that, as it will be way more accurate than the watch. Plus, I don't expect this to be working all the time. Whoop, for example, only measures your blood pressure at night. You cannot do manual measurements. And that's how the Apple Watch Ultra 3's blood pressure monitoring is expected to work as well, in a similar way to its temperature sensor, giving you trends and warnings of hypertension rather than actual readings. Still, I would rather have this feature than not have it. I just hope that Apple's been figuring out a way to make it work without any prior calibration, as I feel like that's what would be putting off most people from even using this feature. And judging by the constant delays and the recent problems that they've been running into, it does sound like Apple's trying to make their blood pressure readings more accurate and possibly even easier to take than their competition. I just hope that this doesn't cause any further delays though. Now, the second upgrade to the Ultra 3 is rumored to be 5G. Interestingly enough, despite the fact that we've had 5G on the iPhone since the iPhone 12, the Apple Watch is still limited to 4G. This is set to now change with the Ultra 3, which will move away from the current 4G Qualcomm modem to not an Apple-designed modem, but a MediaTek one instead that will support 5G. We won't be getting the speeds that we get on 5G phones, but the speeds should still be improved, so streaming music should be faster, and making FaceTime calls should also be clear. Now, before I move on to the third change, which I think is the most exciting one, here are some amazing new wallpapers that I think you guys will love. Robot Runner by Wallrod is this super cute robot pack with tons of designs and colors to choose from, perfect for your lock screen. And you can even pick a matching hue for your home screen with Hush Halo by Hossein, with this awesome new abstract pack. But if you like something that's a bit more sleek, then we've got Metro Mirage by Hanin, which is also an amazing choice for your phone, tablet, or desktop. And this is, by the way, what I'm using right now on my MacBook Air. So, give your devices a fresh coat of paint and check out wallpapers for free on iOS and Android by using the links below. Okay, now my favorite upgrade that the Ultra 3 will be getting, which will also be exclusive to the Ultra 3 by the way, is said to be satellite SOS support. And this is pretty huge, as it will allow you to send SMS messages to not just emergency services, but also your family and your friends, even when you're in the middle of nowhere without Wi-Fi or cellular signal. The iPhone 14 and newer already has this, but now we'll have it on the Apple Watch as well. And since the Apple Watch Ultra is ideal for hikers, this feature will probably make a lot of people want to upgrade to the Ultra 3. The thing is, even if you already have an iPhone with satellite connectivity, having this on your Apple Watch as well would simply just give you extra redundancy, which is always great to have, especially when hiking in unfamiliar places. Which brings me to the next upgrade, and that is the new chip. You see, unlike the Series 10, which runs on the S10 chip, the Ultra 2 is still on the S9. The S10 is the same as the S9 performance-wise, although it does have an updated display driver. And my guess is that we'll see a new S11 chip this year, probably with some performance and efficiency improvements. Do support Apple Intelligence on device, more on that later, and also an improved battery life. Speaking of the new chip, even if we don't get the S11 and we still get the S10, with that updated display driver, it will enable one new feature, which is an updated always-on functionality. We got this with a Series 10 last year, essentially a new LTPO3 display with a more efficient refresh rate, which allows the seconds hands to refresh every second, hence giving you a live always-on display. This was great on the Series 10. The only downside was that it only worked on 2 watch faces. And with the Ultra 3 also getting this functionality this year, I do expect Apple to update a few more watch faces to support this 1-second always-on display. If anything, I would expect them to at least update the Wayfinder watch face, which is an Apple Watch Ultra exclusive. Now, the next expected upgrade is a brighter screen, which, just like the updated Always On, is a feature that the Series 10 got first last year. And that's a 40% brighter screen when viewed from an angle, which on the Series 10, it did actually make a good difference. And especially when using the Apple Watch Ultra outdoors, with its already brighter 3000 nit display, I feel like this 40% extra brightness when viewed from an angle would make an even bigger difference, especially when you're hiking and you're trying to view your metrics on the go. And then we've also got faster charging. Aside from the satellite connectivity, this is the upgrade that I think will make a lot of people want to upgrade to the Ultra 3. The Series 10 got support for some super fast charging, 0 to 80% in just 30 minutes, thanks to a new metallic back from the previous ceramic back. The Ultra takes just over an hour to get to 80%, which for me, it completely changes the way I use it. Sure, it also lasts for much longer. I get about 2.5 days instead of 1 day and a half, but the fact that it takes so long to charge, like I said, it does affect the way I use it. For example, while I usually fully charge my Series 10 while I'm getting ready for work, I do need to charge my Ultra usually twice throughout the day to get it to 100%, which is not ideal. Now, because of the larger battery in the Ultra, I don't expect us to get an 80% charge in 30 minutes like with the Series 10. I would maybe expect 40 minutes or so at best, but even that would be a big upgrade from the current 1 hours plus. So I'm definitely looking forward to this. And aside from these hardware upgrades, there are a number of software changes that will likely be coming too. For example, with both previous Ultra models, we got a new watch face. So I think we can safely expect to see another Ultra exclusive watch face with the Ultra 3. Which brings me to watchOS 12, which, just like with iOS 19, this is also expected to redesign watchOS, introducing some visionOS design elements to it, with more transparency, updated buttons, and a bolder look with floating elements. And apparently Apple is also working on some ideas for redesigning the home screen, although it's not really clear what those changes may be. But probably the biggest new feature of watchOS 12 will be the inclusion of Apple Intelligence in the Apple Watch. We don't yet know what sort of Apple Intelligence features we may get, but I for one would love to see some features specifically tailored to the Apple Watch, like health suggestions powered by Apple Intelligence, and even custom workouts made by Apple Intelligence. You see, the Apple Watch does actually track a lot of data points, but it doesn't really explain you what they all mean, like the Whoop does, for example, which I've been wearing on my right wrist for more than 2 years now. I would love to see Apple use Apple Intelligence in this way, to help you better understand the data and give you a proper sleep and recovery score. But what do you guys think? Let me know down below. And do subscribe for more Apple news and updates as soon as we've got them. I'm Daniel from ZONEofTECH, and I'll see you guys in the next one. ZONEofTECH, signing out. Cheers.